Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel today, where we're going to be looking at this retail and restaurant apocalypse that's really spreading predominantly throughout the USA, but also through other Western nations as well. But we're going to focus predominantly on the US today because of the sheer amount of big stores that all of you will have heard of, will know very well. Maybe you shop at these stores, maybe you go to these restaurants, and they are going bankrupt at a rapid rate. Now, we've talked about some of the reasons for this previously, so I won't go into every last detail again, but I will recap over some of these reasons. And we've had even more announcements just this week, actually. So we've got, and again, this is mainly from crime waves. They don't want to say that. They use words such as shrinkage, inventory loss, and other such terms. Why they don't just say crime, I'm really not sure. It seems as though they are fearful of the mob mentality. Maybe they're worried about their ESG score or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But we've now got, and again, we've covered a few of these before, but Nordstrom, they are closing their San Francisco store. So that was their 35 years they've been there, their flagship store. We've got Westfield Mall, which, by the way, is going to completely leave the USA. That is the plans for Westfield. And they intend to go over to Europe, the Middle East, and other countries. They just don't see the growth in the US anymore, and they think that malls in the US are coming to an end. Old Navy, Whole Foods, AT&T, all of these places are closing stores at a rapid rate. And one of the worst hit locations is San Francisco, no surprise at all. And when I tell you some of the other places, the other cities, you won't be shocked at all. And then you can drop a comment below as to what the pattern is with these cities. Also, the other problem with San Francisco and some of these other cities is that the office vacancy rate is so exceptionally high, over 31%, and that was in May. It's even higher now. What does that mean? It means that sales tax revenue declines across these stores. You have the taxes that the businesses pay to the city. Those have gone. That means that the employees and the staff that worked at these places, they're not earning a salary or a wage there. So that income is gone as well, the employment-based tax. So you can see how this is now spiraling. So they made the laws too lax. And what happened? Crime increased at a time when they wanted to defund the police and other, measures like this. And now what are you seeing is this spiral. So we're going to see more of this. It's not going to turn around. I know a lot of you like to drop comments. You're very optimistic and things like that. This is just simple economics. This is, I'm not adding any personal emotion to this or any demographics or anything like that. I'm not getting into any of this. I'm just telling you purely from an economical, statistical point of view, what is likely to continue. And they are praising the pop-up shops at the moment in these cities. Wow, we've got 17 new pop-ups that have just arrived. Yeah, whenever you see pop-ups, that means that it is the death of that area. Dollar Tree is another one, and actually their stock has fallen quite dramatically at the moment. In fact, I made a comment here, it's the worst performer of the S&P 500 at the moment. Their shares dropped by 9.34%. Now that is very unusual for that to happen in a recession like this, even though they don't call it a recession. Why? If you look at previous recessions, low priced item stores like Dollar Tree and others should in theory go up in terms of their sales. Why? Because people from the middle class and other income groups, because they're getting squeezed in other areas, energy, gasoline, everything else, they have to start spending money at lower price stores. They need to make their money go further, their household budget. So it's very unusual to see a decline this high, unless you start looking into the theft, not the shrinkage as they are calling it. But they have got a very good gross margin at over 29%, which means, to me, it's quite obvious when you start looking into this stuff that a lot of these misses on the earnings is due to theft. But again, they don't want to use the word. Even Dickies Sporting Goods reported a decrease in merchandise margin due to inventory loss. That's what they're calling it, inventory loss. Target is another one. It says it's going to close 9 stores across 4 states because of, and they've actually said, theft and organized crime. Well, it probably couldn't have happened to a nicer company actually than Target. And I wonder how much of this as well is from the boycotts. Yes, there's a lot of theft going on, but I wonder how much of it is squeezing Target because of the boycotts. I'm pretty sure all the thefts, they probably left behind all of the children's nip and tuck swimsuits and all that sort of thing. But critics are arguing that stores like Target haven't provided enough evidence to support their claims around the impact of theft, and many need to be careful of profiling is what they are saying. Craziness. And just pulling up Target on the charts here, you can see the last year and what has actually happened with Target. Look where they are. Look at this chart. This is pretty unbelievable. And we can even dig a little bit deeper. And their price to earning isn't too bad, nor is their PEG ratio, their price per sales. But then when you start looking at the performance weekly, monthly, quarterly, right through to yearly and year to date, you can see that they are having a lot of problems. But I did look at this for you and go through some analysis, and Target is significantly undervalued right now. Not that it's a stock I would want to invest into because of their personal values, but if they can get back on track and drop all of that, then there is a lot of profit to be made potentially with this stock. And remember, I teach you how to analyze stocks in my stock market course below in the description. So I want to show you the year-over-year statistics then in the USA currently. We've got bankruptcy filings, including all chapters, 15% increase year on year since July. That is staggering, 15%. And if that wasn't big enough, commercial chapter 11 filings is up 71%. Commercial filings 21%, subchapter V, small business elections 61%, and individual filings 16%. So there you go. There are the statistics in black and white for you. And we can also see that bankruptcies fell through to July of last year, and now they are increasing. So just how many stores are going bankrupt at the moment? Well, it's a staggering amount. Bed Bath & Beyond is one you'll be aware of. Christmas tree shops, I believe there was more than 70 stores that they were going to close. David's Bridal, Tuesday Morning, Party City, Boxed. Now you'll notice a pattern in a minute with a lot of these. JCPenney, Century 21. What is the pattern that you're noticing with a lot of these? It is that they are customer facing businesses. Not every last one, but a lot of them are customer facing businesses. And a lot of these stores are being targeted by looters. And again, this is professional organized crime. We just had overnight as well in Philadelphia, Foot Locker, Lululemon, and Apple was raided, and this was insane. I don't think I'm going to be permitted to play the video on here, or it's going to get some sort of a restriction, but the clashes were just crazy. And the same with the Apple store. I mean, come on, wasn't it obvious that this was going to happen on the day that the new iPhone came out? It was obvious that all of this was going to happen, and there was going to be these massive smash and grabs and looting. Now, if you want to know if all of the new laws are working in the US, well, you only need to look at the numbers. Remember, always look at the charts, always look at the statistics, because they do not lie, although people who make the statistics often lie. So you look at the arrest rate now in the US, and you can see that it is absolutely plummeted. And they're not even giving us 2023 figures, probably because it's so low that it would give away exactly what's going on here. And yet anybody with eyes and a brain can look around and see that crime is increasing at a rapid rate. But what do the government statistics and figures say? They say crime is decreasing. Look at this across the US. They're claiming that it is decreasing, and the one that's up almost 35% is vehicle theft. But they're trying to say that crime is decreasing, which I simply do not believe. And again, we have motor vehicle theft rate as well here. I was looking at this article as well, and it was how that they were going to solve this problem of crime in the US, especially in California. and they're going to fund $267 million in order to work within the communities, and there's a few other things they're going to do. I just don't think any of this is going to work. And you look at California, which has a $19 billion a year problem, compared to the rest of the country with a $30 billion a year. I mean, surely someone's got common sense. They can see what the problem is here. And then we have all of the CEOs. So Walmart has said it's decided to shut 17 of its stores across 9 states after the CEO warned in December that theft was the highest it's ever been around the country. And if it did not slow down, stores would have to close. Target as well revealed that it lost $400 million in profits last year due to organized gangs of shoplifters who'd been stealing merchandise from its stores. And its CFO said the company expected retail thefts to reach $600 million by the end of the year. But it's not just these, it's a lot of stores. And now these stores are being told not to get involved. Don't try and stop all of this as it's happening, because you can be arrested for trying to stop a shoplifter. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers that all of this is happening now. And even more bonkers, where all of those crimes are down, guess what's up? The conviction rate, yes, the conviction rate for hate crimes is now 93.5%. So almost any hate crime results in a conviction. But anything that's quite serious, including very serious and violent crimes, seems to be very, very low. And you can see again this chart from Visual Capitalist about hate crimes now and the conviction rate. So it's pretty obvious where their focus is. So I said I'd mention where the biggest problems are then. Here we go, get ready. East Harlem, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Oakland. These are what the police are now saying are the no-go cities. They're rife. There's not a lot that they can do. So what's the pattern? Please drop in the comments. What is the pattern with those cities? Because no one seems to be able to figure this out. It's a mystery. A few more stores then that are having to close up is Rite Aid, TK Maxx, Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond, Nike, JCPenney, Walmart, Foot Locker. Now, I'm not saying they're all going bankrupt. I'm saying they're closing stores. In terms of restaurants as well, Five Guys, Waffle House, Texas Roadhouse, Olive Garden, Panda Express. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But what's the government saying about a lot of this then? Well, they are admitting there's a problem with car theft and car-related problems. You probably saw the viral video the other day of those 2 men who stole a car and then used the car to play sort of Grand Theft Auto in real life, and went around hitting people and killed one guy on his bicycle. Old guy just cycling down the road, plowed into him, killed the guy. I mean, this is the craziness now that we are seeing, and they're laughing and streaming it as they're doing it. And actually Rochester, New York saw the largest increase in this sort of problem with a 355% spike. A statement here says, liberal groups advocating for decarceration saw incarceration rates fall, but homicides and violent crimes have risen significantly. I don't really understand why that was in the sort of benefits column. How is that a good thing? I guess they're seeing incarceration rates lower as a good thing, but on the flip side, they're now seeing more crime because those people that would be in prison are on the streets. But hey, they also reject the defund the police movement led to an increase in crime rates. Some of these people, I honestly, how they can think that having less police would result in less crime, I have no idea. Store employees are now being told, including security, not to get involved with any of these sort of incidents after a Rite Aid employee was murdered just recently. So I think I'll probably leave it there, but this is what the true problem is here. The media doesn't really want to focus on a lot of this and tell you this, but the problem is, as soon as you relax laws and you make it, I'm not going to say it's legal, but it's a misdemeanor to steal up to $950 worth of merchandise, and then there's these looting mobs that just go around stealing merchandise, which they then call shrinkage instead of theft. It's obvious combined with defunding the police and everything else, it's obvious what is going to happen. And as a result, you're losing, if you live in any of those cities, you're losing your big retail stores, you're losing your favorite restaurants and things like that, because they simply cannot operate. It's too dangerous, and they're not making any profit because it's been stolen, and the police, the government, are not willing to do anything about it. But as always, I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. Do you think I'm right in what I'm saying here? Do you have a different view? Please drop a comment below this video. And apart from that, I will see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless you. God bless your family. See you then.